Now on Coast TV News.
Deadly crashes.
Driving down in Lower Slower, Delaware, it's no longer Lower Slower, Delaware.
Hours-long shutdowns as more and more locals say they're done with Route 1. Milton Development.
It would benefit everybody.
How this building surge could change daily life for longtime residents. Biker hit. A 20-year-old driver charged after a J1 student is left with life-threatening injuries.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Route 1 shut down after a deadly accident. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with a string of crashes on the coast. This was the scene on Tuesday at Hudson Road and Route 1. And today, just miles up the road, a deadly accident shut down the beach's busiest highway. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Milford. Emma, drivers say something needs to be done.
Charlie, we're on Argos Corner Road in Milford, where a crash happened this morning right here along Route 1 that involved multiple cars and 3 patients. One is dead, one is in serious condition, and one has minor injuries. And we interviewed drivers today who say they're just starting to avoid Route 1 altogether. This was Route 1 Friday morning near Milford. One person was killed and the road was shut down for hours. This is just one accident on Route 1 this week. Another at Hudson Road sent 2 people to the hospital. Local David Heffley says it's a real problem.
They're not aware sometimes that they're driving a lethal instrument, really. That's what an automobile can be.
Police are investigating the deadly crash in Milford. In Milton, troopers say a car was trying to cross the highway when it drove into oncoming traffic.
Driving down in Lower Slower, Delaware, it's no longer Lower Slower, Delaware.
Gretchen Beanert says she tries not to drive Route 1 at all.
I found back roads, which is much better, less traffic. But yeah, people are just so much in a hurry. It's ridiculous. So I avoid it.
Heffley says something needs to be done.
Obviously, improvements in the infrastructure, but that's going to take a while. If ever, more increased police protection will help to a point, but really it's education.
As summer traffic drives on, some say they are simply done with Route 1. Over the next 3 years, DelDOT does have plans to eliminate 8 Route 1 crossovers that are deemed dangerous. For example, Cave Neck will become an overpass eventually, and crossovers will be eliminated at roads like Minos Conaway and Nassau Road. Reporting live in Milford, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
And it's not just accidents on Route 1. There was a crash in Selbyville on Lighthouse Road on July 8th. That left 2 people dead. Delaware State Police say 22-year-old Veronica McCoy from Berlin drove into oncoming traffic, hitting and killing 77-year-old Douglas Bachtel. Police are still investigating what led McCoy to drive across the roadway. And just in, efforts to recover a tractor-trailer cab and driver that plunged off the Delaware Memorial Bridge have been suspended. They will resume tomorrow at 6 a.m. The Delaware River and Bay Authority says the driver is presumed dead. Officials say this morning the truck crossed 3 lanes, hit a concrete pad, broke through a barrier, and then fell into the river. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is the main cause of serious crashes on Route 1? Let's take a look at the updated results from earlier this evening. Speeding coming in at 39%, but the overwhelming leader right now at 61%, that is distracted driving. If you haven't voted yet, if you want to vote, go to coasttv.com or use our Coast TV mobile app. Remember, you can also leave us a comment, and we'll show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. We are learning more about a 21-year-old J1 visa student hit critically and injured in Rehoboth Beach. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson shows us what police know now and what those who knew the victim are saying.
Rehoboth Beach police say this 21-year-old cyclist was hit right here behind me at the 300th block here on Rehoboth Avenue, and police confirmed to me today that the cyclist is still alive after suffering life-threatening injuries. Police say Megan Smith, a 20-year-old, was driving under the influence just after 1 a.m. on Wednesday when she hit the J1 visa student. The student was then transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. New today, Rehoboth PD says the 21-year-old cyclist was was a female. Ritza Alston rides her bike in Rehoboth and works with the J1 visa student. Alston hopes for a full recovery.
I hope that she's okay and whatnot, and I hope that she is too, especially since she's a J1, she's not from around here. So, you know, that's that kind of, I hope that doesn't make her not want to come back, shall I say.
Rehoboth Beach Police could not release any more details of what happened here on the 300th block of Rehoboth Avenue with this crash, citing the ongoing investigation and possible more charges pending. In Rehoboth Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
An out-of-state lifeguard is facing charges after allegedly vandalizing a lifeguard stand. Dewey Beach police say 18-year-old Mateo Gomez pushed 3 lifeguard stands into the ocean early yesterday morning. He's also accused of damaging other stands along with trash can signs and a beach shack. Police say they often see beach vandalism coinciding with a lifeguard competition that is happening in Rehoboth Beach this week.
This issue has become a trend. Every year, one of the beach towns discovers something that has happened in relationship with this event.
Police are planning more beach patrols around this event in the future. 5 people who were with Gomez were interviewed by police and released in Dewey Beach. A shooting in Milford on July 10th left 1 person dead. That's according to the Milford Police Department. Police say this happened at a home on the Windward Grove development. When officers arrived, they found a 32-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. Witnesses had already started leaving measures. Paramedics started life-saving measures, but the victim died. His identity has not been released yet. The suspect left the scene. Police are searching for them right now.
Well, when Delmarva gets hit with heavy rain like we've had recently, it's important to know the terms flood watch and flood warning. Now, a flood watch primarily means conditions are favorable and ripe for the possibility of flooding in your area. If you hear a flood watch, it's important to stay alert and to move the higher ground when necessary. Now, when a flood warning is issued, it's important to evacuate that area immediately and move to higher ground and get away from any flooded areas or stay away from any high water, especially when you see those water levels rise very quickly. And it's important to have the proper alerts and keep a close eye to the forecast when flooding is imminent. And thankfully today we're not seeing any type of flash flooding along the coast. As we take a live look into Ocean City, the skies are bright and blue, and we are seeing plenty of sunshine out there. And those areas, Ocean City from Fenwick Island into Bethany Beach, have really been getting socked with the rain really over the last few weeks. You can see these are rainfall totals so far this month, and you can see Bethany Beach over 6 inches, Prime Hook over 4. So you can see the rain has been rather isolated in nature, and you can see just up the coast in Rehoboth, just shy of 3 inches, just about over 2.5 inches there. We had one brief shower pass just to the south of Georgetown just a few hours ago. Then we had another area of shower activity just over Pocomoke City. Pretty quiet. We had those showers kind of form along the sea breeze and that frontal boundary, that stationary trough back off to the west. Most of the shower activity is going to stay to the west over the weekend, and that is certainly good news. 78 Rehoboth Beach, we're at 83 Long Neck, 82 Gumboro. We are at 85 degrees in Bridgeville. See those bright skies in Ocean City, 80 degrees, and really a gorgeous night on the boards. Temperatures falling into the mid-70s by around 9 o'clock. A muggy evening, though. The humidity, unfortunately, not going anywhere this weekend, even though the shower activity is going to kind of wane into Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures anywhere from about 83 to 88 inland. Some areas across the eastern shore could hit 90. The coast, 79 to 87. We'll have pretty good onshore wind. Low risk of rip currents both days. That is good news. As we get into Sunday, partly cloudy skies, isolated shower chance primarily across the eastern shore. But there is more shower and storm activity in that 7-day forecast. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. Charlie.
Thank you, Chris. Here's something you don't see every day. Murr had an unusual call this morning. A mother and calf pair of bottlenose dolphins had been spotted near Milton's Memorial Park. Take a look at this. Murr says the dolphins were likely in the area seeking fish, and while uncommon, there are reports of dolphins in the Broadkill on a regular basis. When the tide turned, Murr said the dolphins quickly swam back out of the river. Now let's take a live look at the eastbound Bay Bridge lane. Here you can see cars moving along, a lot of traffic there, or at least moving traffic. And according to the Maryland Transportation Authority, US 50 eastbound delays earlier today Those were up to 9.5 miles prior to where the bridge was. Seems to be moving much better now. Milton developments. It may seem hard to keep up with all the changes. Today, CoastTV spotted 5 developments throughout the town. One man says growth is inevitable, but the infrastructure may not be ready for the increased population.
I think what's happening is the main roads are getting so busy, 1, 9, 24, that everybody's using the Hudson, the cut-through roads, and they're becoming main roads, and they're really not set up for it as a little country road.
One of the proposed developments, Symphony Glen, would have 9 Sussex County Habitat for Humanity homes in the development. It's not just housing. A Dunkin' Donuts has been proposed for Route 16 in Milton. It was supposed to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission agenda on Tuesday, July 15th, but it was removed this morning. A Dairy Queen is expected to go next to it. A heads up for beachgoers starting Monday, July 14th, parts of Delaware Seashore State Park near the Indian River Inlet. It's going to be off limits. During these periods, large volumes of sand are going to be moved through high pressure pipes from the south side of the inlet to the north side. The operation is designed to mimic natural sand movement along the Atlantic coast and to maintain beach width. Testing runs Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then on the following dates, July 14th through the 17th, the 21st through the 24th, the 28th through the 31st, and then in August on the 4th through the 6th. We are just getting started tonight. The Phillies begin their final series ahead of the All-Star break. DSN's Luke Mealy breaks down the matchup in San Diego.
And we're looking pretty nice this weekend. Warm and muggy, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. We keep the storm chance at bay for now, but then as we go into the early part of next week, we talk about the return of showers and storms. I'll break it all down in my full forecast here in minutes.
But first, the future of a major beach project is up in the air in Rehoboth Beach. What it could mean for storm protections and the coastline. We're back in 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
One coastal community is worried now that they won't be getting expected federal funds for an upcoming beach nourishment project. At a Rehoboth Beach meeting this week, city leaders shared that the town, which was supposed to receive beach nourishment this fall, now faces uncertainty as funding has not been fully secured. While the dunes are currently stable, local officials worry that one bad storm could quickly change that.
There is no funds to be able to do the beachward nourishment this summer, which is very unfortunate. We're hopeful that Mother Nature is kind to us the rest of the summer and that we don't have any problems.
DENREC says due to the funding shortfall, the entire project has been pushed to at least 2026.
Well, after some morning fog tomorrow, I think you'll get a good round of golf in without dodging any drenching downpours. Temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 80s. We do talk about those rain chances returning. I'll let you know when they do when Coast TV News at 6 continues. It's been a gorgeous afternoon along the coast after what was been really day after day of these pop-up shower and storms along the coast. Looking live into Lewis, blue skies, there are 81 degrees. We're seeing a bit of a northeast wind, about 10 miles an hour, dew point 76, so still rather muggy. And it's going to be a pretty mild, muggy evening with temperatures falling into the mid-70s by around 10. We'll likely see some fog develop through the overnight. We're at 79 Bethany Beach, 86 Willards, 85 Laurel to 84 in Bridgefield. There's those dew points well in the 70s, and we're going to hold in that level here really for the next 5 days, despite a cold front coming through Monday. Not really going to do much for us as far as the humidity is concerned. And we had one little brief shower just past to the south of Georgetown just a few hours ago, but not much going on this afternoon as the coverage has been very isolated. Most of this activity is back off to the west, and this is going to kind of be the zone for shower and thunderstorm activity over the next 2 days, and then that cold front's going to be approaching by Monday. So we keep the thunderstorm chances really kind of out of the forecast over the next day to 2, maybe a brief isolated shower Sunday afternoon, but we really begin to ramp up the shower and thunderstorm activity as we roll into Monday, and then that front may kind of stall out middle part of next week. So some fog developing We'll see more of a kind of an onshore flow marine layer move in overnight. Temperatures falling into the lower to mid 70s tomorrow. Once the fog burns off, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and a gorgeous day along the coast. 80 Rehoboth, 87 to Chincoteague, 82 in Bethany Beach. So once that fog burns off, we're looking pretty nice tomorrow afternoon with that onshore wind. Looking pretty good, and we'll see some fog early Sunday morning and kind of a carbon copy day on Sunday. Again, with that slight isolated chance of a storm primarily across the eastern shore, but I think everyone kind of escapes any rain chances. Certainly not going to see anything widespread. And then we start the day Monday rather muggy but dry, and then the shower and thunderstorms roll in by the late afternoon. So Chincoteague 87 to Saturday, 86 on Sunday. Asteague, we're looking at a pair of 80s for the weekend. Fenwick Island 84 both Saturday and Sunday. Low risk of rip currents along the Delaware beaches, so that is certainly good news. 80 in Ocean City, and then as we move into Lewis, 85 of warm muggy weekend. Again, morning fog likely both mornings. And then those thunderstorms roll in, it looks like Monday afternoon. So there's the setup. We have the cold front back off to the west, and on Monday, ahead of it, warm, muggy air. And then we'll see those thunderstorms roll in through the late afternoon, early evening. Some of them could be strong to the severe side. I think the primary threat here would be a damaging gusty wind, as well as that flash flooding threat. These storms have had a lot of moisture to tap into over the last few weeks. And then as we go into Tuesday, that front kind of sags to the south. Could see an isolated storm, I think, Tuesday. I think as we get further in the week, the storm coverage begins to get more isolated rather than widespread. 85 into Tuesday. I think most of the day is dry. In fact, most of the rest of the week is dry Wednesday through Friday with spotty, isolated storm chances, and we're looking at temperatures generally rising into the lower 90s as we go into the latter part of next week. And keep in mind, though, as we roll into Monday, could be sealing some triple-digit heat indices with that humidity.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
This weekend marks the final series for all Major League Baseball teams before we hit a 5-day break for the 2025 All-Star Game. The Phillies will head into the break at the end of a 6-game West Coast swing. And the trip out west continues tonight with the first of 3 games between them and the San Diego Padres. The Fightins are coming off a series loss to the San Francisco Giants, but the bats were booming in the series finale. The Phils scored 13 runs on 17 hits in Wednesday's victory. Tonight, they'll hand the ball to Ranger Suarez on the mound. The lefty posts a 7-2 record along with a 1.99 ERA. And next week on DSN will mark the beginning of 3 weeks of USSSA softball. Beginning on Wednesday, July 16th, we'll have 5 straight days of softball from 10 to 12U across our platforms. Make sure to download the DSN app and subscribe to DSN Plus so you don't miss out on any of the action. And make sure to tune in to the final score tonight at 10:30 p.m. because we'll have the highlights from today's Little League softball semifinal between Tri-City and Hancock. The winner takes on Delmar Little League tomorrow at 10 a.m. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Well, we escape any shower and thunderstorms this evening, but it's going to be a pretty mild, muggy night with some areas of fog developing, especially along the coast as we get into the overnight into the early part of your Saturday. Well, the Skeeter meter, it's going to be pretty high here over the next 3 days with those high humidity levels. And Rick Pesce of Frankfort, Delaware, you're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. You get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. Now, the weekend is trending pretty dry. That is good news, but a warm and muggy weekend at that. Could see an isolated storm late Sunday, but a better chance of more widespread thunderstorm coverage is going to be moving in Monday afternoon through Monday night. Some of those storms could bring some damaging wind threats. We'll keep you abreast of that through the weekend.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News at 6. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The NBC Nightly News is up next. We'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.